welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Just Ignore Them. And I guess the first question that might come to mind is, who is the them that should be ignored? Well, the things that go bump in the night for, I'm not exactly sure what the creatures are, but
Ah, God, they mentioned it and I forget what it's called, like the Jehuti, something like that?
like,
Jiwas or something like
Yeah,
Jiwas.
something like that.
Some obscure language. Well, not
Yeah.
obscure language, but it's supposed to like in another language. Yeah.
yeah, admittedly, I only played about an hour of this game because, well, I was focused on the visual novel that we're reviewing up. Um, but yeah, Just Ignore Them is a horror-based 8-bit point-and-click adventure game. Like,
Mm-hmm.
really stripped down to the barest, if I'm being honest.
It
Like,
is.
it's like, even in like the times of like say King's Quest, the parser-based adventure games, this would have been this is pretty simple, you know, um, but that's because the gameplay really isn't the point of the project here. Like, it's definitely more about the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't to say that the gameplay and the narrative are completely divorced. Oh God, no. Like, um, yeah, like, oh, okay. So it's very possible, and you will come upon the creatures very often.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you click the wrong thing, and they will eat you, or
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
maybe not necessarily eat you, but they
They
will.
eat you.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Well, that's like the only problem, like the first chapter,
Uh,
and then they kind of
Yeah.
take a bit of a back seat until like near the end of the final chapter.
right. But the point is, you're trying to figure out the puzzle rooms, basically. Like, uh, you know, for example, this screen right here. You've got to figure out how to get out of your bedroom,
Well, this is
and
first the tutorial, when your mom comes and turn off the lights, and then the actual game starts.
uh huh. Yeah. Anyway, um, and that's about it in terms of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
since we are focusing on the PlayStation 4 version, um, Petty Fan, you'll be carrying the body of this particular review.
Yeah, like for the most part, I would not suggest getting the PS4 version of this because the pointer thing is tied to an analog stick and is ungodly slow and no ways of making it faster.
Mm.
Mm.
Like, it moved with, well, about the speed that you would expect from a point-and-click adventure game on the PC.
Yeah, it did.
Now, not sure how how this would fare on the Switch because, well, that's not a version that was selected.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so controls aside, what was your impression of the whole story, the whole horror thing?
Well, it's not as much jump scare horror as it is more psychological. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are some moments so it's supposed to be a jump scary-ish, but they're not really. And most of the puzzles are kind of awkward to solve.
Adventure game puzzles being awkward to solve? I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, how long does the game last?
It's not very long at all, like maybe 2 or 3 hours.
So, sounds about right.
Yeah, that
Sounds
does
about
sound about right. Yeah.
Like, uh, no. Let's see. What about the music?
There isn't a whole lot of music. It's more ambient stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, then let's move on to price.
I forget, what was the PS4 price? Was it like $5 or some odd dollars?
Yeah. So the PlayStation, like the console version, pricing is clocking in at $4.99, which is also the that is not the price of the PC version, but the PC version usually clocks in at $3.99. So we're talking about the difference of $1 here. Like, um, worth noting that the game is on sale at this particular moment in time at a price of $1.99. And you know, is it worth? Well, it's like, is it worth it at say up to $5? I would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Not a huge recommendation because even though this isn't a game that Radalaikia had a actual hand in, it definitely fits their criteria. Very basic, very stripped down, very you'll be able to complete this within 2 or 3 hours, which is their usual bullet points. Not every game conforms to this mold, but more often than not, we've encountered their games to be of this nature. Like, and Petty Fan, in your estimation, where does how would you rate this Just Ignore Them game?
It really depends what you're into. Like, if you're looking for something that's super scary, probably this one isn't for you. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
more into like psychological horror, it could probably be somewhat fun.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely see it. Although
Mm.
this also might be a turnoff to people who are, who are used to say Resident Evil or Silent Hill. Keep in mind this is a game that's aping the aesthetics of say an NES game,
Mm-hmm.
and there are people out there who just don't find this kind of game, this kind of style all that scary.
Yeah.
Versus something that's much more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like short review, but there's also, it's one of those games where there's not a whole lot to say.
Yeah, I guess the only other kind of infuriating thing is the item system because you can combine items, but you have to do it a certain way.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
how it works in the PC version is you just move up to the top of the screen and pick the item, and you put the item where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Standard adventure game stuff.
Yeah, well, this one apparently order matters for some
It's the same
ungodly reason.
PC version too.
Mm.
Like, it's just all that stuff's going to be clunkier on a console because
Mm-hmm.
it's a console.
Indeed.
All right. So yeah, that'll about do it for Just Ignore Them. Be sure to tune in after the break as we will be reviewing Bo-Katan: Why I Became an Angel.